Volition's open-world playground brought Mars to life like never before, with the best destructible environments the industry has ever seen. Driving around in the Red Planet surface and destroying enemy bases was absolutely blissful and pushed the shooter high on my list of favourite game of 2009. When the sequel of Red Faction, Armageddon, was revealed to take place under the surface, I was confused. When it was said to be story-driven and linear, I was worried. Sure, the gunplay was fun in Guerrilla, but how would the destructible environments work in an underground linear world? Luckily, just as well. Set 50 years after the conclusion of Guerrilla, Armageddon drops players into the boots of Darius Mason, grandson of Guerrilla's protagonist. After battles with the Mirandas left the planet's surface uninhabitable, remaining citizens have been forced to live their lives underground. That is, until Mason mistakenly frees indigenous, motionless, ugly, power bug-like creatures, which quickly began to slaughter the humans and tried to take back their planet. Once again, Mason needs to try and save the planet. When compared with last releases in the series, the story is strong, and the characters are surprisingly entertaining. Some are a bit shallow, but others, like the protagonist and his commanding officer, Sergeant Winters, have some memorable witty banter. This is likely due not only to top-notch writing and voice acting, but a compelling narrative that drags Mason all over the planet in a lengthy campaign, a steady stream of new enemies, allies, and environments, keeping the story feeling consistently fresh. Whenever things begin to feel sedentary, Mason will need to jump into a mech, or board a minecart, or into another powerful vehicle. It's paced exceptionally well, and while it starts to drag near the end, it's never a dull moment. Granted, a full story can only bring it so far. The real star of Armageddon is the gameplay, which proves to be just as strong as its predecessors, due once again to physics. Mason's signature sledgehammer returns. It takes a back seat to what might be one of the best weapons in recent gaming history, the magnet gun. Using it as simple as shooting at one object and then another, immediately the first object is hurled at the second object, liberating anything in its path, even if it's another enemy. As foes become more powerful, I found myself finding absolute bliss in smashing buildings before blowing up the supports and trapping them inside. It's remarkable and lends to some fantastic gameplay. Large environments become physical playgrounds with collapsing buildings, gigantic explosions, and extremely entertaining. For those interested in a more traditional experience, a non-stop barrage of new powerful weapons are delivered as well, satiating any gamer's lust for exploding and guns that can create miniature black holes. Generally, the games with a gimmick let the gunplay suffer, but that's not the case in Armageddon. It might not be Gears of War, but it's certainly a functional third-person shooter with a smattering of special powers that can make Mason feel like. Once a single-player campaign is completed, there are 2 additional modes to enjoy: Ruin, which is a rehash of Guerrilla's Wrecking Crew mode, and Infestation, which has up to 4 players fighting waves of enemy attackers. The competitive multiplayer from Guerrilla is sadly absent, and while the 2 included modes provide some good fun, they definitely could have been fleshed out a little bit more. Armageddon is much bigger than a gimmick. It is extremely fun, fast-paced, lengthy shooter with the best physics in gaming today. The story has established Darius as the most charming, memorable Masons yet, something I'd love to see expanded upon in a sequel. The lack of a true multiplayer mode is a plain flaw, as the game mechanics certainly lend themselves to competing with other players, but it doesn't negate the entertaining single-player campaign, which proved that the series might be better linear than open world.